Hello and welcome to In a Spiritual Sense, where we discuss all things spiritual, from growing your intuition, speaking with spirit guides, diving into past lives, the paranormal, and more. Join me, Stacey Piagno, where we work to bridge the gap between science and spirit. Hello and welcome back to another episode of In a Spiritual Sense. I'm your host, Stacey Piagno, and I hope everybody had a safe and happy Halloween, happy Dia de los Muertos, and a happy Samhain. Actually, I just figured out that the real date of Samhain is going to be November 7th this year. And that's more specifically talking about the day when the physical world and the spiritual world will break down and start to blend. Because, when working with energy, rarely does it ever fall on our calendar days. But so for those of you who have not had a chance yet to connect with your ancestors, there is still time as we move into this winter season. And with that, today's episode is very much going to be about this season that we are entering, the season of rest. And I know that you guys have been hearing me mention that this will be our last episode going into the holidays because rest is needed. And I'll be honest, this is something that I have a hard time with because I can definitely fall into that pattern of being a workaholic, especially with things that I'm passionate about. And so, when starting this podcast, I have really been working till no end. And it is time to finally take a break. And Spirit has again been reminding me that it is time to rest. For those of you who were able to listen to the episode on past lives, there was a life I had lived as a healer. And something I didn't really talk about on the episode was the connection I had with the bear spirit during that time. And just to give some background again, when I was living and or viewing this life in my regression, I would continuously see bears. And so there was this opening scene when I was connecting with my body, and I remember consciously connecting the bear totem to this life. And what's interesting is after the session, I would always see bears. I mean, I would see them on license plates. I would see them on decals. They were in my dreams. And every night when I listened to the audio recording of my past life regression, I, again, would see a bear in my mind's eye very vividly. And so I didn't really understand what the message was. If anything, I connected it to courage, because when I think of a bear, I think of courage. And although courage is one of the descriptions of the bear totem, I still wasn't quite sure what the message was. Until one day, I opened this book and I started to read about bear medicine. And I said, aha, I get the message. So I want to read you a story from this book, which is called You Are the Medicine. And it's written by Asha Frost, who is an indigenous medicine woman from the Chippewas of Nawash First Nation. And the story I want to share is one that has been passed down through her community. And it is the moon legend of why the bear began to hibernate. And it goes as follows. When the animals came to be, Creator gave each of them a particular medicine that they would carry in the world. One by one, the animals were dreamed into being by Creator. And one by one, their medicine activated. Bear was the first in line. Dear Creator, what is the gift you bestow upon me? Creator swirled beautiful energy around the bear and spoke the gift into the universe. You are the keeper of courage, dear bear. Fierce in your boundaries, you stand rooted in your sovereignty. You are passionate about protecting those that you love and mirror the importance of standing your ground. Use your gifts wisely. We are grateful to have your medicine upon the earth. Bear was elated with their medicine gift. They felt strong and powerful and felt called to share their talents with everyone they met. When one of their kin needed protection, Bear would appear to fight and serve. When one of their kin needed help to speak up or try something new, Bear would appear to teach and inspire. Bear was being asked to do more and more each day, running from one problem to the next. Wolf lost their voice and their ability to snarl. Bear stepped up and growled for them. Mountain Lion had too many babies to take care of, so Bear offered to carry some of them around for a while until they grew. All of creation began to think that Bear had superpowers. Whenever they needed help, Bear seemed to appear. Since Bear never complained or seemed tired, they just kept asking for support and help. One day, Bear started to feel dizzy and ill. They fell to the earth in exhaustion. All of the animals came running over, wondering what had happened. Bear, what's wrong? They cried. Bear couldn't speak, move, or open their eyes. They had run out of energy. The animals, worried that Bear was dying, moved Bear into a nearby cave. They covered the bear with moss and soil and flowers. Every day, Owl checked on Bear and found that their temperature, heart rate, and breathing had dropped. Bear's eyes remained closed. The animals came and went, offering prayers and gratitude for all that Bear had done for them. One day, when the birds were chirping and the sun brought longer days, Bear started to stretch and move. At first, the animals thought they might be imagining things, but lo and behold, Bear finally opened their eyes. They started to move slowly at first, and then they seemed to gain strength gradually. When Bear walked out of the cave, all of the animals cheered. Bear, we were so worried about you. We are so sorry we asked you to do so much for us. We promise to never do that again. That's okay, dearkin, said Bear. It's my responsibility to manage my own energy. I know this now. From now on, I will be mindful in my capacity to help, and when I feel tired, I will listen to my body and rest. Because I offer so much, sometimes my rest will need to be longer. Perhaps it might span the whole time that Mother Earth is blanketed in snow. But please know that I will be ready to serve my place of creation again when I reappear. I promise to listen to my body, retreat when needed, and trust that all will be taken care of in my absence. From that day forward, Bear listened to the wisdom of their body, which was attuned with the seasons. When food was scarce and the elements harsh, Bear knew it was time to conserve energy and hibernate. When the conditions of the earth were more favorable for survival, Bear would emerge again, ready to share their medicine with all whom they love. So, after reading this chapter, I very much understood that this bear totem was linked to my healer spirit, because something that I had trouble with was rest and creating boundaries. And I think I even talked about that previously when I mentioned how guilty I feel for saying no to helping others, and how guilty I feel for taking breaks. And so again, recently, I have been having bears pop up, and I have been dreaming of bears. And I am immediately reminded that I am falling back into the pattern of work over rest. And although my intention is to heal, right? Give healing content and share how I've healed so that that can hopefully help you heal. It is now time for rest. Because with rest comes beauty and magic. And something that Asha shared in her writings is, with deep rest, miracles happen. And the Great Spirit has a chance to move through us in extraordinary ways. So if you find that you are stuck in a system that revolves around structure and time and scheduling, I challenge you to take some time away this season. Something that I have recently been struggling with is, what would happen if I said no? What would happen if I didn't get an episode out every single Sunday? Or if I didn't meet the exact goal that I had planned for myself? Would it be the end? Or would it maybe be the beginning? The beginning of me taking my power back and allowing space for Spirit to work through me so that I can receive more than I ever imagined, receive more than what could be achieved through endless performance. So I've been thinking about how nature works and how nature takes time to rest. Hence this time of the year. The trees rest. The animals hibernate. The sun isn't around as much. And it's because we cannot have life without rest. The same as we cannot have light without dark. We must take this time of the year to balance ourselves and reconnect with our spirit. And during this time of rest, we need solitude, because it's solitude where we find our sanctuary. Sanctuary being our truest self. And with the coming of this season, it is a reminder for us to annually step into our solitude and reconnect with our ever-changing soul. I mean, think about all the growth and change that has happened to you and society over this past year. When is the last time you took a minute to stop and reconnect with who you currently are? Or connect with who you currently want to be? With Bear Medicine, it reminds us to look within and reflect on who we are and take time for nothingness so that we can move forward with our greatness. So I am excited to say that it is time for rest. Time to look within and reconnect with who we are. So in a spiritual sense, we'll be taking a holiday break through this season. And as I reconnect, I am excited to build some new content for you guys. So please don't worry, because I have a lot of amazing interviews signed up and I have a lot more to talk about and share. But for now, it will have to wait, because nature is calling upon us to connect with this season of rest. And we are, after all, nature. And nature knows best. So to leave you with one last piece, I asked Spirit to teach me about time and rest. And personally, I asked, why do I feel so driven by time? And this was the response I received. You feel so driven by time because you do not rest. For to rest would allow you space to see its unimportance. Speaking of time. You are driven by time because you allow yourself to be driven by time. Do not allow it, and it will stop. Nothing in nature is driven by time. Not linear time, but its own time. If only everything could be on its own time. But this we fight with. We don't accept it. And with or without our approval, everything happens on its own time anyways. We are impatient to think things are too slow or too fast, for we think we know. Our minds know. So once again, we are stuck, driven by the mind and time. Don't you trust the timing of Spirit? Trust the timing of your time? You will expand as fast or as slow as you expand, because it is your time. Release your hold. Remember, time is man-made. It doesn't exist. You are running your life with something that doesn't exist. The rhythm of nature, however, does. And to align yourself with nature's rhythm is to align yourself fully. So, you heard it. It is time to align ourselves and go into solitude. Of course, as the holidays approach, I do hope that you spend lots of time with family and loved ones. And remember the importance of living in each moment as we share space with those we love. And although in a spiritual sense we'll be on break, I will keep up weekly inspiration and updates on Instagram. So check the handles down below for those of you who are not already acquainted. And again, take this time to read and learn and rest. Enrich yourself with the world around you and the world within you. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this brief episode and use it to inspire those around you. And I will see you after the holiday break on In a Spiritual Sense. For those looking to connect further, please feel free to send emails to info@inaspiritualsense.com or hit me up on Instagram at spiagno, that is SPIAGNO, where you can find weekly inspiration and updates. I look forward to connecting with you.